Hi, my name's Katrina and welcome to Inspiration, where we celebrate successful women in business, the arts and fashion. On today's show, we chat with celebrated cook Stephanie Alexander. We have a laugh with Fiona O'Loughlin, Australia's premier stand-up comedian. Financial advisor Sophie Roussos shares some tips on how to invest our hard-earned cash. We learn how to make the perfect Italian apple and ricotta cake. And we enjoy a night out at the opera in one of Melbourne's hip laneways. Enjoy the show.
Make a welcome, it's Fiona O'Loughlin.
Today on Inspiration, we talk with Fiona O'Loughlin, Australia's premier female comedian. Thank you so much for joining us today, Fiona.
Well, thank you for having me.
So how did you become a comic?
I wanted to get out of the house, basically, and I was at home in Alice Springs with 3 little kids and not that interested in netball. So I joined a local theatre company and I'd be the MC. And someone in the audience said, "You're actually doing stand-up." It was suggested to me by the then Arts Minister, Shane Stone. He said, "Why don't you apply to my arts office for a grant and go down to Melbourne and check out comedy?" And the minute I saw a stand-up and what that was, I was bitten. I knew then that I wanted to do it. I would do it.
So it's obviously a natural gift for you, and it means you feel right at home in on the stage. How does it make you feel to stand up in front of hundreds of people and having to make them laugh?
Well, it is one of the hardest, it's an old cliche, isn't it, the hardest job in the world? And yes, indeed it is, if you're not funny. Storytelling comes very naturally to me, but it's not a normal thing to be standing on a stage and talking to hundreds of people. If I'd known how hard it was going to be at the start, I don't know that I would have had the confidence that I had.
Absolutely. And is there any advice you would give any other would-be female comedians?
What I love about stand-up that I think is separate to any other arts is that there's no board of directors. Like, no one can tell you that you can't come in because every city has an open mic night. So the only thing that can stop you from getting further ahead in stand-up is an audience not liking you, or yourself. There's, so long as you keep going and keep getting better and keep getting laughs, there's no one who can say you can't come in here, and that's what I think is so extraordinary about this game.
So persistence is the key?
Persistence is absolutely the key.
Is there any particular challenges female comics have? Like, is there something that particular to you, or do you think all female comics find their struggle?
I think it's like a lot of professions that have been dominated by men for, up until now. And I personally have found that what I've lost on the swings, I've gained on the roundabouts through being a woman, because once you get in, there's a lot of work that you can get because there's not many women, which is a plus. But the hardest part about stand-up is the beginning, and it's appallingly hard because you walk out cold, no one knows who you are, you're in a club and you've got 3 to 5 minutes to prove that you're funny without anyone knowing that you're funny. When a woman walks out, an unknown female comic, there tends to be almost a feeling in the room that the arms are crossed. Everyone's crossed because, here comes the chick, and she's probably going to die.
So you struggled with alcoholism. How did you know you had a problem?
It took me a long time. Well, how I knew I had a problem when I fell asleep in front of 600 people at the Queensland Performing Arts Centre. That was a slight red flag, as Oprah would have called it. But it actually took me a long time to realise, in a way, you're the first to know and you're the last to know. I thought that you had to be born one. No, I had an alcoholic uncle, and as a kid I was just like, why can't that guy just get his shit together? But then, bit by bit, once I got into my 30s and really hit my stride with stand-up, I couldn't help myself. It was, I jumped in feet first. One part of me knew I was in terrible trouble. One part of my brain, deep down, I'm like, you drink far too much and you are out of control and you make such a dickhead of yourself. Like, I've made so many, like, sort of, you don't think you're hilarious, like, but really put your foot in it, make an ass of yourself. And, it's the emotional hangovers just as much as the physical hangovers. But then this other part of my brain was like, yeah, but then you go home to Alice Springs and you could be there for 2 weeks and you don't even touch a drink. So, no, you're not an alcoholic. Well, then you wake up in a hospital bed and you kind of put the pieces back together and find out that you'd actually gone on stage so loaded that you fell asleep.
And so, did you go into a recovery program?
I
How
call
did
it
you
my
get
special
sober?
lie down. My 28.
I had to lie on the couch for a little bit.
No, I went into a facility for a 28-day special lie down. Yeah. And it was great.
Yeah.
But then I had to, coming out is the hard bit,
Yeah.
you know.
So how do you manage on stage now without your Dutch courage?
The shot of whiskey or the shot of vodka or the double shot or whatever I took actually blunted my tool a bit, you know, because I'm really, really scared and I still miss it. I still wish I could have that, you know, before every show. But what's happening on stage, what actually happens on stage now is that you're massively clear, and it's just been a whole nother thing I get to enjoy.
So you give a better performance.
Oh, much, yeah.
Better. So who inspires you?
I'm very inspired by my sisters. I've got a sister who has 4 children and she has rheumatoid arthritis, which is like, interestingly, we've become a lot closer since I've gone public with my alcoholism, because rheumatoid arthritis is something that no one can see as well. And I've got another sister who's got 9 children who I find very inspiring as well. And she's one of the funniest women I've ever known. And she actually gives me, she doesn't even know she does it. She will be laughing, you know, irreverently about God knows what, and she's really dry and she'll just drop a line and I'm like, that is so going in my next show. You know, I just lift her material and I charge money and she doesn't get a cent.
So what's next for you?
I'm just at the very beginning of a possible motivational speaking career, which I'd like to branch out into and do as much of that as I do stand-up. Yeah, and a writer. I mean, I'm nearly finished my first book. So.
Fabulous. Well, I look forward to reading it.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
It's been a great pleasure talking with you.
Oh, thanks so much.
It was lovely. And until next time, be inspired.